Super easy. It was instrumental, I guess, in establishing yourself as an international jockey. All of a sudden, people started to know who you were with your association with that great horse.
Greg, I'm not afraid of saying that that horse was the best horse that I have ridden in my life. Not only here in Singapore, obviously I have ridden good horses back in my country, but you don't really see many horses doing like winning 12 races on the row. So, and he's done that with me on board. So I was very blessed boy to be seated on top of him from the day one. The connection was so good to me also that they kept me on the horse all the way. I suppose that would be hard to them to take me off as the horse kept on winning. But yeah, they were very kind. And the way how the horse used to behave from the day one, he shows off that he was going to be a really good horse and a special horse for Singapore.
A question for you. The 2012 Guineas, halfway up the straight, did you think, oh, hang on, I can't win this race on super easy?
Craig, that race was a tricky race because my horse, for jumping from barrier 1, if you really look deep into it, wasn't a good barrier because obviously if any other jockey could just keep him in a box seat, they would, which is fair enough. If I'm on their position, I would do the same. I wouldn't just come and check a horse like that level, that as good as he is, but I wouldn't give him any chance. So in fact, that he got into trouble so many times and I wasn't able to get a clear run with him until the last 100 meters. And he still got there and won by a neck without even me pushing him hard because I couldn't just go deep into him because there was no gap to me. And he still won the race. He shows off that he was a really special horse.
The shuttle man kicking on strongly. He gets the run now. Super easy. He bursts between them. Going with him, Cash Luck, but super easy. Massive in the Guineas. Super easy wins it by a neck.
Was that his biggest attribute, the will to win and the fact that he never gave up in his races?
I thought it was a really special race that he won, but I thought there was some other ones that I would mention as the main one, his last win in Singapore, because looks like he already had the problem. Looks like he already had the problem and he pulled up after the race saw and he still won the race. So looks like he went over the problems and made it. He just loved to cross the line in first. So was an amazing horse.
He's the best horse you've ridden, but maybe one of the most memorable races you rode in was the Derby of the same year, 2012, Chase Me. I don't think anyone's seen a Group 1 victory like that in Singapore.
Well, yeah, that was a funny race because when I decided to go with him, there was a lot of people say, look, you're doing a mistake. But looking back to his form, he has finished 3rd, 4th or 5th, just like a length and a half, 2 lengths behind the winners in some of the short distance race, in the Group 1 races too. And then when he went up in distance, he shows off that was his surface, that was his distance. Obviously, I was confident that he was going to run a huge run. I knew that he had a very big chance to winning. But by the way how he won, he really surprised me and he shows off that he was the best horse of the day. And obviously, that was one of the best moments over here that I had. Winning the Derby, a special race like that, sponsored by big companies, and riding the winner, which basically smashed the other horses. So yeah, it was fantastic.
Go up and Chase Me. He's coming to it very quickly. Magic Moreira and Chase Me races away in the Derby. Inside the 270. Chase Me races out by 5 lengths. Gingerbread Man running on hard is Deep Pockets. Arowana.com. Silver on wings, but a 1-act affair for Chase Me. He's going to annihilate them. Deep Pockets runs on into second, then Arowana.com, but Chase Me takes out the Emirates Singapore Derby by 8 lengths.
Big race wins like the Derby or the Guineas or the Patrons Bowl, they're great, but you seem to get the same sort of thrill out of riding a Class 5 winner. You've always got the big smile on your face, you're pumping the fist after the line. Is it just every win special to you?
For sure. No matter what level race, what kind of horse we're riding, when I cross the line in first, I just feel so glad that I made it. Don't see it by that way, but the Class 5 horses are the ones who makes it more difficult for the jockeys because they don't really have much ability. So it's very challenging for the jockey to get out the best of those horses. And fortunately, I've been on top of a lot of them and succeed. So yeah, so when I get there with a Class 5 horse, for example, I feel so glad of myself that I made it, because good horses, they make it easier for the jockeys.
What do you think is your greatest attribute as a jockey? Yeah, from a race caller, I think it's your balance. It's just phenomenal. Horses run for you. It's amazing. But from your point of view, what makes you stand out from the very good jockeys that we have here in Singapore?
I never thought about it. I guess it's my balance too, because as you know, I came from a place where we ride every morning bareback, like we don't use saddle at the track work, and I suppose that gives a very good balance to the jockey who rides without it. And I suppose you're right on saying that my balance doesn't put me to be any better than anyone else, but I think that's my best bet.
Since you've come to Singapore, obviously the momentum has grown and grown and grown. You've got some wonderful opportunities. You've ridden winners in the USA and also Australia, South Africa. What about Ascot when you went to the UK? Was that a personal highlight to you?
Wow, it was. It is, in fact. Getting there and being able to ride a winner in that race course was like a dream coming through. They breathe for horse racing over there. Horse is like something really special to those people, and it was such a pleasure to be riding over there. I must say that was the best racetrack that I have ridden in my life. Yeah, it was just fantastic.
And what's the goals and ambitions? You've been in Singapore for almost 5 seasons. Do you think you've improved as a jockey since you've been in Singapore?
I do think so. But I think I have grown up a little bit more mentally, because obviously I went 5 years older. But in fact, I think now came up to the time that I gotta be leaving Singapore to a higher level. And Hong Kong seems to be one step higher than Singapore. And I'm leaving to Hong Kong because it's gonna be good to myself. I will improve more. And the goals that I have in mind over there is obviously to just start off, ride winners, and obviously if eventually one day I turn up to be a leading jockey over there, which is not my goal, I would be very happy for sure. But those things comes naturally. We can't just set up those kind of things in our mind and go for it. Obviously when you feel like you are in the situation where you have got chances of getting there, and then you gotta push for it. But now I'm only on the beginning. I'm just going there and starting off from the zero, and obviously I had set up things on my mind to make sure things also keep on moving well over there, and hopefully everything goes good.
Would you one day envisage yourself or like to see yourself riding for one of the really big stables of the world, say a Godolphin or a Dali, where you were a genuine international jockey that went around the world and rode races?
Wow, that's like every jockey's dream. If I could get a job on one of those stables, I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't knock it back anyway. I wouldn't. I would just grab it and go for it. Because I know riding for such a type of owners and stables, that gives you as a jockey a chance of getting on good horses and go for the really big race all over the world. And that's my answer about it. I wouldn't miss it. I would just grab it straight away.
The nickname, shortly after you got here, in one race I called you Magic. Do you like the name when people are yelling it out over the fence when you come back?
I love it. I love it, especially because I know that also helps build up my own name over here. But in fact, I don't think I'm any magic. I just ride the horses, and in fact, I know that it's no good jockey without good horses under their legs. If they have no good horses, they won't be able to win races. But fortunately, I've been very lucky and been sitting on top of some good ones, and things are going very good. But the nickname was awesome. I love it.
Well, you might not think you're a magic, but I know I do, and I know plenty of people in Singapore do. So thank you for your time here. Thanks for the 5 years in Singapore, and we wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you very much, Greg. I gotta say a few words to people that has been enjoying races, in fact, because of myself. Well, I gotta say thanks to them all. I gotta say thanks for the Singapore Turf Club that has gave me the opportunity to grow personally and professionally. And I'm leaving Singapore, but I'll be carrying you all here in my heart forever. and I'll never forget those good moments that I had here in Singapore.
Moreira does it one last time and races away with superb success. Gets in over Custodian.